transcript. It's crazy.
The other day, it said song.
And there's Chelsea. Okay, recording has started.
Thank you. Okay. I get started. It's 5:45.
All right. Chair Reese Adams here, Vice Chair Martin Gilmore,
Here?
Kyle Conrad. Here. Amy Fox,
Here.
Leah Moran,
Here.
Stacy Potash. Here. Councilmember Chelsea Noonenkamp,
Present.
Ewood Public School Liaison Emily Ancona. Unexcused, we have alternate member Monica Aldedrag. Staff, we have Director Christina Underhill, Library and Cultural Arts Manager Bethany Lafferty, and Event Supervisor Tony Arnold.
Great, thank you. Okay, we'll move into the approval of minutes from February.
I'm up to approve those.
Oh, thank you.
I'll second.
Thank you. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? It looks like a pretty light.
Yeah.
Pretty light meeting. Great, thank you, guys. No public comment, correct?
Oh, Monica is present. Monica Alvarez, so she is present.
Hi.
Hi, Monica. Thank you. Oh, sorry to interrupt.
No, that's fine. No public speakers. Yeah. Okay. All right, we'll move into the new business.
All right. It's time.
You're up, it's time.
It's time to elect a new chair and a new vice chair. And I'm sure you all saw Reese's email.
So they're 2-year positions.
Correct.
I would like to just say we
It's
can
been 2
open it up.
years.
What?
That's crazy.
It's been 2 years.
Yeah.
Yeah. Time flies when you're having fun.
So we can take nominations. If you're interested in becoming the chair, you can nominate yourself. If you want to nominate somebody else, you can do that as well.
Is there anybody who would like to nominate themselves or nominate someone else? Do we start with chair?
Yeah, let's start with chair.
Okay. Go ahead.
Okay, I would be interested in being chair,
You want to be chair or vice chair?
vice chair,
Vice chair. We'll
but I
start
would like to nominate Martin for chair.
Okay.
Do we need to second that? Or do
Are
we
you
just
okay with
nominate?
that?
I'm okay with that.
Okay.
Is there anybody else who'd be interested in chairing the CAC?
Those options are wonderful.
All right, Martin. What do we need to do? We need a vote?
Well, let's do, because like you kind of nodded to Kyle, but
Yeah.
need a motion nominating Kyle
Okay,
or
yeah.
nominating Martin. That motion's been done, but we need a motion nominating.
I
Okay. Oh,
motion
yeah, yeah.
to nominate Martin.
And I'll motion to nominate Kyle for vice chair.
Okay, perfect, thank you.
Then we need a second member.
And I second
Very formal committee, as you guys can tell.
Stacy, you get the second.
You can have it this time.
Do you want one of them?
Just all in favor?
Yeah. Is everyone in favor of these two, chair Martin, vice chair Kyle? Aye.
Aye.
Any opposition to either of these? It's unanimous.
Whoa.
Congratulations, guys.
No, no.
I'm not going anywhere. Just can't be this.
You've done your time.
Yeah.
And thank you for
Were,
your time.
were you vice chair?
No.
Oh, wait, you couldn't. Wait, back up.
Well, Martin, since you're chair, do you want to go ahead and run the rest of the meeting?
I can.
No.
First, thanks, Reese. Like, thanks for 2 years.
Yeah.
Yay.
No, it's good. It's a great commission. It's great to have an active commission, a filled commission. And it's nice because there's a lot of public interest as well. And so it keeps us busy and also accountable. So It's good. But you guys are gonna be great.
You've been amazing.
Oh, thank you. Well, let's just go through this meeting and then Mark, next month,
The nice one.
you're in.
Okay.
Okay, so the next item of business is strategic planning, which I know we've kind of talked about in parts over the last couple of months. One of my takeaways from January was to look at multiple cities. I looked at both like large municipalities as well as ones that are more our size to see if there were any available like budget breakdowns for arts commissions. There were not. And I guess should have expected as much, but we did an arts survey in 2018,
Yeah.
2018. And we didn't get to, I think, fulfill a lot of those community requests through a couple of years for COVID. So I think we still have like a few years left to kind of do some of that stuff before maybe thinking about doing that again. However, in thinking about like planning, you know, our projects and expenditures, I would propose that we start to think about like the budget a little bit, because I think if we think about like really, if we're really thinking about $11,000 a year or more or less, we're not talking about a huge commitment or a big plan here. And so I think it makes it a lot more manageable as far as how we can plan our projects and our priorities. And so I kind of want to throw some numbers out there. It's totally up to discussion. It's just to get like the kind of the us noodling on this. But when I think about like planning, you know, we have a big maintenance. We could have a big maintenance need. I think at one point, you know, if we were to have done restoration on all of our art projects, it was like 35,000 or something, which not to say that we would do that, of course, but we are thinking about some big median artworks, and we do have some art around town that has not ever been touched. And so I think that there is probably a need to keep a revolving fund in place to make sure that we can account for that. And that particular amount of money that I've thought about is about 25,000. So if 35 was for the whole city that we have, and we're gonna add potentially plus, you know, maybe 1 to 3 sculptures, then, you know, there are some things that we really want to make sure that we do preserve, the grasses and other like pieces around town that could be very expensive to preserve. So I think it's prudent of us to keep that sort of in the bank. As a line item, another line item that we seem to always go through and I think is beloved is our music. And we spend about $2,000 a year in music. And so budgeting to keep that going and knowing that we have something to pull from and that there's consistency and we can plan for that, I think is probably like something that's easy. And Martin does a great job with being able to source local talent. So if we think about 11,000, 25 we already have in the budget, carve that out, so that's not obviously part of that. We've got 2,000 for music. We've talked about for several months, like ways to support our artists, and one of those things is sponsorships of booths at like Tony's events. So whether it's a block party or Celebrate Inglewood, whatever that be. And I don't know, we need to talk about probably what this looks like, but I guess I would just throw out there, like, let's say $2,000 for that, right? So we have multiple events, we can support multiple artists that way. And then another $2,000 for art acquisition. Art acquisition isn't something that I think we're actively pursuing, but what it seems like is that we're actively asked to do that. And it's become more, it's a bigger ask, I think, these days. And so I think we need to think about setting aside some funds for acquisition, whether we use it in a year or not. At least we're designating some funds for it, because as you'll see, when we go through some of these submissions, art acquisition is not budget friendly for $11,000. And so sometimes we'll have to build up for these, especially, you know, we just don't know like where additional funding sources might come from. So to have a little bit for ourselves, I think is also prudent. And so, okay, we got $11,000. We have 2,000 for music, 2,000 for Tony-ish. Not just Tony, but you know, Tony's event. Events. 2,000 for acquisition. And then I would propose we keep the last $5,000 for community projects because we have, you know, I think a lot of community members who come to us with ideas on it seems like once a year or so we have a project, but in addition, you know, other things pop up. For 2023, it feels like murals are a very hot topic. So if we think about that $5,000, you know, murals, again, you know, these things cost money. So I would say like if we thought about, you know, $4,000 for murals, whether that's something that we sponsor a mural and put a grant out, or it's 100% grant, or it's 100% we fund a couple murals, whatever that looks like is fine. And then that last $1,000, we've been trying to be better about our artist engagement, which is something that was hard for us during COVID, and I think we are trying to rebuild. And so that helps us with events and other, you know, types of, you know, just meet and greets and whatnot. So anyway, so to recap, it'd be 25 from the main fund for maintenance, 25,000, 2,000 for music, 2,000 for events, 2,000 for acquisition, and the remainder 5,000 for community projects, which this year it seems like murals are a hot topic. So I would probably propose that the majority of that go towards that. Budgets are fun. Anybody want to talk about that?
So for the 2,000 for events, is that including the 1,000 that you guys have put towards the holiday tree lighting in the past couple of years, or is that different?
That's different.
Yeah.
2,000 is what we had spent on the markets before.
Okay.
So to me, that would probably be stuff from community projects or sponsorships. But
Maybe look at it, maybe like looking at those types of things differently, like instead of being a little bit more general with our funding for that, maybe we can be like a little bit more intentional with like the community, like the holiday market, like sponsoring an artist to actually do, like we kind of did this year with the characters, you know, like,
And we did with the block party too.
yeah, and with the block party, but same thing, but it's just more,
I guess when you asked me, I just gave you the budget that we had spent on the pop-up concerts and markets.
mhm. I don't think we spent
Not quite. It
Yeah,
was like
quite, yeah.
18 million.
but anyway, so, but I like breaking down the budget in that way because it also aligns to the community survey that we did and things that people want, pop-up events, music. You know, we still have art acquisition, but it also provides a little bit of flexibility within those. So anyway, that's the best I could do. But it makes sense, I think. Thoughts, questions, comments? No?
Speak now, this is sticky.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, is this something that we need to like vote on, or is it something that we can just use as like guiding principles, or how would you recommend? I mean, because we've done it like kind of loosey-goosey in the past, right?
So
We
we're
kind
just
of
talking about like putting stuff in like buckets, so to speak, like.
just
so
making
we're
sure
kind
that
of keeping in the back of our head, like we're keeping this amount here and we're gonna try not to go over $2,000 for events. And if we do, we're gonna have to pull that from somewhere else.
yeah,
Not necessarily like a actual line item.
right.
And it seems
Right.
like in the past, some years are more than 11, but like 11 seems like the conservative side.
Yeah, I mean, there might be something that comes across the desk that's like, wow, this is amazing. Yes, we want to sponsor it, and it's more than what we've budgeted for, and then you all can make that decision. This gives you more of a guiding principle of, you know, if we do have an opportunity to say no to somebody because unfortunately, our budget's been spent already on events and we can't, Tony, do any more events for you, sorry. Stop asking. This will help you, but there's gonna be exceptions that you can all talk about and make, decisions on. But I think this is a smart way, because in the past, we've never really broken it down. It's just like,
Right.
here's a bucket of money, go forth and conquer it.
Yeah.
Okay, so.
Right.
Yep.
Okay, well, then, it doesn't sound like we need to like vote on something since we're not like appropriating, like formally appropriating, it's just kind of a guiding.
Right, when you actually spend the money is when you would need
Right,
to.
okay,
Yeah.
right, okay,
Would be just kind of earmarking it.
yep, exactly, okay, great. Okay,
But do we, with this strategic planning though, do we want to start sharing more publicly? Is that something that's important to like show how much in community engagement we're doing or how much? Do we need any of that just to show the public we're meeting this survey?
no, but what I would recommend is probably, so the last survey was conducted right before COVID, and like I said, I don't think that we have fulfilled a lot of what we would probably have wanted to do during COVID, and so, I guess my suggestion would be like maybe in 2025, we redo the survey and then you keep it on a 5-year cadence or something, so that kind of like lead, because some of these projects are multiple years, it's not just like it starts at the fiscal, or at the calendar year, but, so it gives, I think, enough buffer to complete like large projects within that time frame if we need to, alter the spending a little bit.
And do you feel like as a committee, we need to go back over that survey with folks at some point to make sure
Like
we're,
this group,
yeah,
yeah, I mean,
to make sure
we
we're
have
heading
it.
in that direction?
Mhm. I think it used to be in the share drive.
I know I've read it at
Yeah.
least once, but it's been a
Mhm.
I
while.
think I saw it.
I just haven't looked at it in a while, so
Yeah,
I
Yeah.
can make a point to look at it, but it seems like we're hitting all the notes in it.
yeah, it was like markets, we obviously do music, pop-up events, like a lot more active involvement than I would say probably acquisition based. Okay, good questions. Anything on the phone from anyone? All right. Okay, then we'll move on to the media and art call. So we had, this is my first time using Cafe, but we had almost 750 submissions from around the world. Really interested in Hampton beautification, I'm sure. But no, we did have a lot of, we have a lot of qualified submissions, and we're working on whittling that 750 down. There are a lot that are well above our size guidelines and our budget guidelines, and so we need to get down to a manageable number, and
Ones
so.
that are safe, right, for Hampton as well.
And ones that are safe for Hampton, yeah, right. There are some that, like, I think in January, we established it couldn't be like a big solid fixture.
You
There's,
have to be able to see.
can't have a stop sign, can't have a faux stop sign on it, like,
Flashing light.
flashing lights, yeah, exactly. Yeah, yep. So, so we're gonna we'll get through those. We'll have the city's help making sure that what is ultimately selected is manageable. And then we'll bring all of the remainder of the submissions to the commission and we'll vote. Our budget for this was about $30,000. So keep that in mind. Some of the works are $30,000. Some of them are significantly under. We have three pads. And so I think what, we'll be charged with is whether we want to move forward with like one, or it seems like kind of the options are going to be like one or all three based on where the price points are coming in. So
There's options for both, which is great.
yes, there are options for both.
Could we take well, we can only do Hampton on this one, right? We have to redo the calls for the other two.
They're all on Hamden.
So we would have, like, even if we have good ones that we're like, we could put at the other pads, we can't do that. Or
Yeah, you
But
can
yeah,
do
we
that.
can-
we can't, even though we did it for Hampton.
And we.
They're all
did
on
it.
They're all,
Oh, they're all
Right.
on, okay.
Yeah.
Okay, but we can use them for all three, is what you're saying. Okay,
Mhm.
I'm glad. I just want to make sure we don't have to keep doing calls.
Well,
for
and
each.
keep in mind too, even though this call was for Hamden, I'm thinking that if there's one piece you guys are like, this is amazing, we want this, and we have a place we want to put it, we can always purchase it. I mean,
And
that's part of it.
there are some pieces in there that are really cool. And, like, I can see where we would want to maybe utilize them elsewhere.
And not saying MOA art is going anywhere anytime soon. They've promised to keep it here, but keep that in mind too, that we may want to add art to the collection that's city owns as we go along. And so while we do have funds, this may be a good time to do it if we find pieces we really like.
Yeah. Okay, that's all I have on the new business. Anything else? Alrighty. We'll go into the old business, murals. So kind of talked about it a little bit, but I did invite Lindsay from the chamber, although it was kind of like midweek this week. So I don't know if this, it was probably on her radar to come tonight because I think there is a lot of interest there in, I think she might be out of town. She might be, yeah. But there's a lot of interest in helping the murals and mason jars, which would also correspond with our kind of mural asks. So, I mean, that's pretty much all I have on that. I would hope maybe, you know, we can continue conversations with her, but I think there's some opportunities there. And I know like we've got Mally and a couple others. So whatever we decide to do with kind of that mural funding, I think would be a great support of that event. And,
I think our list for muralists is growing. We've
We
had some
have-
new,
Yeah, seven
oh,
that have reached out
awesome.
to be added.
No, that's good.
so maybe something we throw a proposal out.
Yeah.
Send us your designs for these
Yeah.
whatever locations and see what we got.
For the spreadsheet, I'll add them to the mural.
Yeah, I've got them in a spreadsheet. I'll email it to you.
That's perfect. And then I'll add them to the artist database, and there's like a section in there that I put for murals.
Okay.
So, but I can do it for both, so they get on the email list too.
And we do have some submittals from the median art that were mural.
True.
I'd like to see how that works.
yeah.
I weeded them out. Yeah, I weeded them out for this. There is a column where you can just, you know, I weeded out paintings and murals because they don't really fit
And it means-
this particular project, but there are a lot. And I guess like, once this call closes, do we still have access to all of those?
I think we do.
I have the spreadsheet just in case, but I'll make sure,
We paid for it. It's gotta be our.
I would think it'd be our data to,
I'll verify how long it will be available.
okay,
I know, like we did a call way back, and our account had expired at that point, but that was years.
okay. I'll run a report to get I can get like Colorado mural lists so that for anything local that we need like on the fly, we have I'll pull that.
Because we already do.
I did some research on just like looking at there's already websites
Yeah.
out there with muralists. And I gave them to Kyle last week. And I've actually talked to a few muralists,
Oh,
just
cool.
because I'm interested in putting a mural on my back wall.
Oh,
So, but yeah, they're definitely a little pricey. But it's weird how much they range. Like I've talked to muralists that charge $20 an hour and others that charge $40 an hour per square foot.
mhm,
Or I'm sorry, not per hour, but per square foot.
right.
Some people do it based on, how much the wall is to prep and that kind of stuff, which is obviously a big deal if it has to be prepped. And it's very different, depending on what you're actually painting on. But yeah, I have another name for you. Several other names for you. They're
Oh,
very
okay.
interested.
I have something too.
Yeah.
I'll email you tomorrow.
Be great, because I have like a muralist and then like a website one that I've added just because like the websites, I didn't know how to fill them in the database. And I was like, that should just be under websites for cool artists, places to go, but.
I've reached out to the Chicano Murals of Colorado project to see if they wanted to pair with us. I have not heard back from them, but I thought that would be a really good like collaboration between us and them to see if,
Yeah.
we could find an artist that would, they have some funding and we had some funding and we could get something going with them.
Yeah, that's interesting.
Yeah. The other thing that I was looking into is like, I know that there's a lot of businesses that are interested in putting up murals at their site, specifically Devil's Head. Obviously the cost of those murals are so expensive, but looking into maybe supporting like a fundraiser for some of those businesses, for those local businesses, and like helping like get people there to help fundraise for their mural. And that's kind of an idea that I kind of looked into is what I've heard that other people are doing to get murals like on city properties or those type of things is doing fundraising for them.
In addition to Devil's Head, Felt right across the street wants it, and that is a giant.
That is
That's the one they want for.
Enormous.
that is such a big wall.
Mm-hmm.
That'd be expensive.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I would strongly suggest not being detail oriented on that one and just doing more of like a.
Yeah.
Waves, big waves.
Like, big mountains.
Yeah.
But all of that fell into play with like like the cost of everything too, is how detail oriented it was, so, yeah.
Okay, thank you for that. That's
Yeah,
good. It's great that we have our mural artist list growing though, because that's been so in demand. Okay, so I think maybe by next meeting, I'll try and connect with Lindsay and see if we can't get her here, and then we can like maybe talk about it a little bit more. Cause I think her event is usually in October, I want to say. And so I just know from knowing that it takes like 6 months to get stuff done. So we need to probably plan by next month to start that project.
And I'd really like to speak with her too, because I really do think that's a good opportunity for us to support artist engagement.
I do too.
As well as like promote and support her event.
Yeah.
It can be multifunctional
I
for
agree.
both of us.
Yeah.
So I'm hoping we can get her here.
Mutually beneficial. Alrighty.
You're right.
October 8th last year.
October 8th, yeah. Okay. Okay, anything else on murals from anyone? Thoughts? Alrighty. Upcoming events.
Yeah, so April 1st, we have the spring event, which is market, and the spring event, and part of that event is the market, and then we also have the egg hunt, and then we're gonna try to have a lot of interactive booths and vendors there for things for people to do throughout the day, giving away some flower and garden seeds, and then they'll have the opportunity to some small seed starter lots of stuff. Hopefully some face painters and just a fun felt spring day. And I think I'll probably end up doing a DJ just because it's time sensitive and that just makes sense. We have Neptune Radio too, but a DJ is fun because he's constantly calling out and thanking the sponsors and stuff like that. So that is for April. And then in May, we have Celebrate Inglewood, which is May 6th, which is going to be here at the City Center. And so that's going to be a ton of fun, and hoping it's more another touch a truck type thing, having a sensory sensitive time at the very beginning. And then again, just having like a bunch of our departments and our local nonprofits and purpose-based businesses and stuff like that. So that's April and May, and then in June, the crazy's on, because it just goes crazy for June, July, and August. So tons of stuff. just for your guys' information, we have changed things a little bit this year. So we're doing a 3-market summer series. So it's June, July, and August. We're obviously having more markets than that. April 1st, there's going to be a market element, and then Touch the Truck. We'll probably have, some vendors and whatnot. But June, July, and August will be the first Saturday of each of those months from 10 to 2 here at the Circle. And then obviously the fall event will have a market element to it. But excited about that 3-market series, and working with EDDA also, because they want to help enhance them a little bit too, and kind of maybe having some theme to it. Everyone loves the Made in Inglewood type of idea and stuff like that, so maybe highlighting one of them as that, and just a whole bunch of different stuff. So I'm super excited. We have over 25 events already on the calendar for this year, so it's going to be fun. It's going to go fast because last year did, and we had half as many, so.
Is there anyone on the CAC who would want to spearhead the funds and arranging for sponsorships of the events? Just identifying, probably not until June, I would think, probably an event, the June market, and then identifying maybe like what events we would want to sponsor or have an artist there, especially if there's something thematic that you want to like encourage, like Made in Englewood, we could get ahead of that and get a made in, an Englewood based artist for something, or 2 artists, depending upon what the cost looks like. But is there anybody who would want to take that particular line item and run with it? I would envision just like finding the events, which ones make sense, and then working with the city to figure out how far in advance we need to communicate. Well, talking to the commission, figuring out the budget, obviously, but then just making sure we communicate it and solicit artists. And
I think that's a good partnership too, to incorporate the chamber and EDDA in, because everyone has kind of had that idea. So maybe smarter, not harder, and putting more into it. Not one person's working so hard.
I don't think it's hard to like source an artist for like a booth if we're funding it, but if there's something that we want to do collectively, maybe we probably need some guidance on where to start with that, because I don't know what these other interested parties would have, like where they are in that thought process or budgeting.
I have no idea either. But like what you guys did for the block party, having, that there was amazing. And so just anytime you can have an interactive booth and then we
Right.
can support our local artists is just awesome. So I love
But I-
that.
But I hear what you're saying, like if it's Made in Inglewood theme, like I could see our local artists like Tina, Courtney, for maybe wanting to like sell their stuff, with some.
I'll help you.
Okay.
You want to tackle that one together?
Sure.
Okay, we can do that one. Great.
Which one?
Figuring out the sponsorship of the events.
And
got $2,000
And then like, right, the potential people too,
Half a year.
potential people maybe who would
Right.
want to be there, who
Yeah.
would be a good fit. for
Yeah.
them. Yeah,
Yeah.
that'd be cool.
Yeah, I mean, our artist database has a lot, it's like Made in Englewood, we have a lot of local artists, but I think it's also an opportunity to probably reach out to other businesses that are probably, I think, like west of Santa Fe, that maybe haven't been traditionally thought of in the arts community, but would be a good fit for something like this.
Oh, just while we're on the conversation, for these scholarship or sponsorships, are we looking at like giving them money so they can have a booth, or we have a booth that they participate in?
I would think that it would be for the artist, like we're giving them the opportunity. I mean, I think we could always have a booth, probably for a discounted price. But I think
know,
this is
girl.
really to support artists, where those, I know, where they, like, some of it is cost prohibitive for small artists, right? Like $200 to enter, an event is expensive, and so I think that's.
Especially not knowing if you're gonna make it that day as like a first risk of like, we'll get you in and then show that you can
Mhm,
sustain and make the money back to be there.
mhm. Yeah,
But I also think, Tony, if you do want more like interactive things at that too, that would be another piece for us.
yeah.
That would be for that person.
Like for a June event, for us to, if whatever the theme is, if there is a theme, if, let's just say we want to do June and there is a theme, like by next month, we're gonna have to have it ironed out. Okay. My piece of advice is plan way far in advance. We meet once a month. Okay, any other events you wanna go through or any other details we need to know?
I don't think so. We have the microsite. If you guys ever have questions, text, call, or email me. I'm always happy to share whatever. So there's a lot going on.
That's
So-
exciting.
So if you have a crazy idea, throw it out there because odds are we'll do it. Right? So, awesome.
When did we last year vote on the block party for the interactive booth? When did we decide on
Like
that?
April, maybe? April or May.
April or May?
Yeah, I wanna say it was more mid, because it was, I wanna say it was more mid-year.
Because we were in the midst of planning the event. That was in July. So we would have voted on that in like March or April.
Okay, because it's March, okay.
Yeah, we're there.
Yeah.
Oh,
this is
yeah, I
March
guess the
1st.
other question is what you want this year at the block party, Tony? Do you have any ideas of what kind of theme you want us to support with? Or do something similar where we do a similar interactive call like we did last year and see what we get?
I like that. People really like the takeaway.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
anything like that is always cool.
So maybe that's something we just know we can move forward with right now and then vote on it next meeting so that we can get it posted by May, right? Okay.
We voted on it in July.
Oh, it was even later. I
Oh, wow.
thought.
Our,
You know, it was the last minute.
We were
see,
up
this
to
is why
the
he's gonna
wire.
be the new chair.
Yeah.
And secretary.
It was tight. But it was easy, which made it okay that it was
Yeah.
tight.
Because we didn't
So-
have to like actually do any. of
Right.
it. We were just there to talk about ourselves.
No, it was awesome. I would love to have something like that again, if that's what you want, like either an interactive artist or something fun at the block party was really great last year, I thought. As what we could contribute. And then I think at the markets, like supporting an artist being there is such a different but important thing, you know?
That's great.
Do we want to put out a call for that, like
We will.
next month?
Yeah.
May, April.
Maybe we can meet and figure out what the budget looks like. We can look at the events and see what the budgets are and kind of what we've spent in the past. All right. that sounds
And I
good.
do have a break.
I know. Barry.
I know, okay. Okay, yeah, that's good.
The actual cost.
Oh, yeah. Can you send that to me?
Yes.
Okay, great.
We kind of joked last year, like, if we just wrap ribbons around a paper clip, if they can take it away with them, they're just excited.
My 4-year-old would be stoked.
Right.
A ribbon and a paper.
I still have that artwork hanging on the fridge.
Yeah.
Very
Oh.
big deal.
That's awesome. Big spender. Staff's choice. Staff.
Yeah, so Beth is on, but I will share her updates. The library's received 5 or 6 submissions so far for the art exhibit that's going to occur in April. The artist reception is being planned for April 20th. We will send out a formal invite to you all once everything's been solidified. The library is reopening on March 13th as well. So we're getting very close to being back open, which is great. And then just put on the radar for a future discussion, maybe next month, the following Swedish horses that have been.
We postponed that because we thought there might be a local artist who would want to participate in the median art, but that's not the case. So we do have somebody and we can move forward with that at our next meeting.
Putting them back somewhere. Okay,
Yeah.
perfect. We had one of the artists reach out to Debbie asking about, hers was in front of One Barrel.
Yeah.
Yeah. And so, I mean, they're still in our service center. I have one in my office. It gets a nice view of the front range. And once we know more, we can put it in, so.
As long as we just need somebody to build the bases and then they can be placed anywhere, which I suspect, based on my experience with those, that independent businesses do find them to be a bit of a liability. So I think a public space is probably a better, so we can position them where, if it's okay with you to do it in public city buildings, but yeah,
Yeah, definitely.
okay.
We just don't want them to continue to walk away.
Right, exactly.
Do we have them all?
We, all but
Um,
one.
Yeah.
One did walk away. Probably in somebody's backyard.
I was like, wait till somebody graduates from high school and they're gonna find it in some kid's basement bedroom somewhere. Like, they're gonna pack in the closet. Anything, Chelsea, on, from council's perspective, or?
No, nothing specific. This is exciting. I love the kickoff of a new year of events and your guys' engagement. So looking forward to it.
Thank you. Okay, from my vantage point, not much. The only thing I asked, what I had a question on is, our new website.
So, she is making final changes
Perfect.
and, she is currently working on the storyful.
Okay,
She did a couple of pages and they looked great.
cool.
So she
Awesome.
thought she would have it done by the end of yesterday, but she got caught up in Christmas.
Don't rush perfection.
No.
That's great.
It'll be great. Lucia is awesome. She does
Yeah.
most of our web pages and they always turn out wonderful. So I'm excited she's working on it. So hopefully, I guess we can send it out to everybody once it's done
Right.
for you to view,
Well, yeah.
even before the next meeting. So.
Oh, that'd be great. Thank you. And thank her too. That's exciting.
I will. She'll appreciate that.
Yeah, it's nice to not have to, that's like one thing you have to think about, but it's gonna make a big difference. Yeah. All right, well, I think that's all we have, for tonight, so I say we just go ahead and adjourn. That's good with everybody.
Teresa,
All right, good.
Now that I'm chair, I'll be gone like most of the I'm gone from 7th to the 7th.